The air around you right now is full of water, not someday, right now. Every cubic meter of air contains measurable, collectible moisture, and for most of human history, people knew exactly how to pull it out. No electricity, no filters, no monthly bill, just a frame, a piece of mesh, and the understanding of how water moves through air. Today we are going to build that system from scratch for about $12. And by the time this video is over, you will understand why people who live off-grid, prep for emergencies, or simply hate, depending on a municipality, consider this one of the most important setups they have ever built. Before we get into the build, you need to understand the two ways this works, because they are different mechanisms, and they are suited to different environments. Once you know which one applies to where you live, you will get dramatically better results. The first method is fog harvesting. This is the older and more historically documented technique. Fog is not water vapor. It is actual liquid water in the form of microscopic droplets suspended in moving air. When those droplets make contact with a surface, they stick to it, merge with neighboring droplets, grow heavy, and fall. A fog harvesting net exploits this entirely natural process. The mesh intercepts the droplets as fog moves through it on the wind. The droplets accumulate along the fibers, and gravity pulls them down into a collection trough below. No energy required, no moving parts, no maintenance beyond the occasional rinse. Fog harvesting has been documented in coastal Peru, the Atacama Desert, Morocco, South Africa, and the Canary Islands, where communities have been running large-scale fog nets for decades to supplement or entirely replace municipal water supply. Nets the size of a volleyball court can collect hundreds of liters per day in high fog conditions. What we are building today is a scaled-down home version of exactly that same system. The second method is dew harvesting. Dew forms through a process called radiative cooling. At night, surfaces lose heat by radiating it upward into the sky. When a surface cools below the dew point of the surrounding air, moisture in the air condenses directly onto that surface as liquid water. This is what you see on your car windshield in the morning, on grass blades at dawn, on metal roofs before sunrise. Dew harvesting captures the same condensation intentionally, using a surface position to maximize radiative cooling overnight. Dew harvesting works in humid climates where fog is rare or absent. If you live inland, away from the coast, with high overnight humidity and open sky above you, dew is your mechanism. For this build, we are going to focus on a dual function design that captures both, because the materials are the same and the structure supports both mechanisms simultaneously. Here is what you need. Two 10-foot sections of half-inch PVC pipe, which will cost you about $4 total at any hardware store. 4 PVC elbow joints to connect the corners of your frame, under $2. 1 roll of shade cloth mesh or agricultural windbreak mesh, 30 to 40% density, which is the most effective mesh density for fog capture based on research from the MIT fog harvesting studies. A roll costs between $4 and $7. You will also need zip ties, a length of gutter spout, or a folded strip of plastic sheeting to act as your drip channel at the bottom of the frame, and a bucket or container to collect into. Total cost lands between $10 and $14 depending on your local prices. Most of that is the mesh. Now here is how to build it. Assemble your PVC frame into a rectangle, using the 4 elbow joints at the corners. You want the finished frame to be roughly 3 feet wide by 4 feet tall. This gives you 12 square feet of collection surface, which is a meaningful amount without being unwieldy to move or store. Stretch your mesh across the frame and secure it with zip ties every 6 inches around the perimeter. Pull it taut. A slack mesh performs noticeably worse than a tight one because loose fabric bunches and channels water sideways rather than downward. At the bottom of the frame, attach your drip channel. This is simply a narrow trough running the full width of the frame that catches water as it runs down the mesh. A length of gutter spout works perfectly. A strip of plastic sheeting folded into a V shape and zip tied along the bottom edge works just as well. Run a short length of flexible tubing from the end of the drip channel into the opening of your collection bucket. That is the entire build. Now, placement is where most people make a critical mistake, and placement is the difference between collecting a liter a night and collecting almost nothing. For fog harvesting, the frame must be positioned perpendicular to the direction of the prevailing wind. Fog needs to pass through the mesh, not along it. Position it broadside to the wind. Elevation helps significantly. Hilltops, ridgelines, elevated porches, and rooftops all produce far more collection than ground level placement because fog concentrates at higher points and moves faster with less obstruction. If you are near a coast, a valley that funnels morning mist, or any area with consistent morning fog, this setup will work exceptionally well. For dew harvesting, you want maximum exposure to open sky, because radiative cooling requires the surface to radiate heat upward without obstruction. Do not place it under a tree canopy or a roof overhang. A flat open area, a rooftop, or an elevated platform with clear sky above will produce the most dew. Tilt the frame very slightly backward, about 5 to 10 degrees off vertical, so that condensation on the back surface of the mesh also runs down and into your collection channel rather than dripping backward onto the ground. If you are watching this and you want a channel that brings you one of these forgotten, practical, self-sufficient builds every single week, subscribe right now and hit that bell. There's another video already waiting for you after this one that goes just as deep on something just as useful. You do not want to miss it. How much water can you realistically expect to collect? In a moderate fog event, a 12 square foot net can collect between 1 and 3 liters in a single night. In dense coastal fog with steady wind, that number can reach 5 liters or more from the same frame. Dew collection is typically lower, in the range of 1/4 to 1 liter per night, but it is consistent across a much wider range of climates and does not require fog at all. For context, a standard drinking water recommendation for one person is about 2 liters per day. This system will not replace your entire water supply in all conditions, and that is worth saying honestly. What it will do is provide a meaningful supplemental supply, a genuine backup in an emergency, an irrigation source for a small garden, and in high humidity or high fog climates, a primary source that requires zero infrastructure and zero ongoing cost. Now let us talk about water quality, because this is the question everyone asks, and it deserves a straight answer. Fog water and dew water are both forms of atmospheric precipitation, which means they form from water vapor that has evaporated and recondensed. Studies measuring fog water quality in non-industrial areas have consistently found it meets World Health Organization standards for drinking water upon collection. It is naturally soft, meaning low in dissolved minerals, and in clean air environments it is remarkably pure. That said, if your frame is collecting water in an urban area, near heavy vehicle traffic, or in an area with agricultural chemical use nearby, you should run the collected water through a basic charcoal filter or a ceramic gravity filter before drinking it. This is the same precaution you would take with rainwater collection. For garden irrigation, no treatment is needed at all. Rinse your mesh frame once a month with clean water to remove any accumulated dust or particulate. The mesh itself should last several seasons before needing replacement, and when it does, a new roll costs the same $4 to $7 as the first one. Scale the system up by adding more frames. 2 frames doubles your collection. 4 frames running in parallel during fog season can produce enough water to supply a household garden through a dry stretch without touching the tap. The PVC frames stack flat for storage and weigh almost nothing. That is the $12 atmospheric water harvester, a forgotten piece of engineering that the world ran on long before pipes and treatment plants. Build one this weekend and watch what the air gives you. The next video is already up. Go watch it now.